During the period when the Turks and the Islamic rulers came and indulged in wanton destruction, plundering, their focus, as was said earlier, was on taking away the wealth. But whatever lands had been endowed and could not be taken away by them, they remained still under the control of the temples and mutts. During the Mughal time, there was in fact a decree that no new temple should be built. Some existing temples were destroyed, more particularly by Babur, Shah Jahan and Aurangzeb. No further endowment was given to the temples or mutts. Some were taken away and converted into mosques or other places. But whatever remained used to be administered by the temples and mutts. When East India Company came, their focus was, I'm talking about the period between 1500 to 1800, early 19th century. Their focus was on trade and commerce. They were interested in peace and maintenance of law and order in order to ensure that their trade and commerce was not affected. Whenever disputes arose in regard to management of temples or mutts, they helped resolving because it ensured peace for their advancement of their trade and commerce. They also charged or started charging some kind of taxes. They started collecting dues for protection of the temples and the mutts. It was in early 19th century, in 1810, in Bengal for the first time, a regulation was made by the company's directors because the formal takeover by the emperor had not come. 1810 regulation in Bengal was followed by 1817 regulation in Madras Presidency. And the purported object was a lot of property and lands were endowed by the previous governments, which included the Rajas also, and they were being siphoned off or were not being utilized for the purpose for which it was intended, and therefore there needs to be some regulation. This was the basis on which for the first time in this country a formal regulation came in 1810 in Bengal, followed in 1817 in Madras Presidency. In 1830s onwards, strangely, it was the Christian missionaries who said, you should not have any control or superintendence over the temples and mosques because you are effectively trying to subsidize wherever there were not adequate funds with the temples or mosques. So you are not giving me, the church, any money, but you are giving them in the garb of regulation, so don't do that. So from 1830, the Christian missionaries wanted government to cede control. And between 1833 and 1850, there was Inam settlement. All the lands which had been endowed to the temples and mutts, these were sought to be regularized. A complete census was taken of all the lands which were with the temples and mutts. And Inam settlement took place during this period, and in lieu of certain tax, and in the south it used to be called the Melvaram, the revenue, and the Kudivaram was given to the temple, that is the right of the land was given to the temple or to the institution. This kind of settlement took place, and settlement took place in West also, in Maharashtra and various other places.